This is Jen Snyder Gibson, and we're coming to you live from the Brand Builder Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina with the Breakfast Club Beat. Thank you for joining us today. We are here with Lisa Rhyne, who is the Government and Community Relations Manager with Piedmont Natural Gas.
Hello, Jen.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for coming on today. You've been involved with Breakfast Club, I think, from the very beginning, haven't you?
It's
for over 20 years.
A long time,
yes.
Yeah.
How long have you been a part of the Duke Piedmont family?
So coming up in July, it will be 36 years. My anniversary date is July 3rd.
July 3rd. 36 years. That is a long time.
Yeah. Feel extremely blessed and fortunate to have spent all those years, not just on the Duke Energy side, but now on the Piedmont side.
Yes. So in all of that time, you've had several different roles.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about kind of your journey on the Duke side and then how you've come over to the Piedmont side.
Yeah, sure. So, it was interesting. My first job out of college was with the American Red Cross in York County, South Carolina. And one of my clients was Catawba Nuclear Station. And, that at that time, it was Duke Power Company, and Catawba is part of the nuclear chain for Duke Energy. And I happened to notice they were hiring and just applied one day when I was there. And series of interviews and things like that, I was hired. And I remember calling my dad, telling him I was going to change jobs. And, my dad was old school. You didn't job hop, back in the time. And he was a little bit concerned until I told him I was joining Duke Power, and he was thrilled. So started working in the customer services organization, had this really interesting schedule, 4:30 in the afternoon to 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
It was terrible. But, because when all my friends were getting off work at 5 o'clock, they were going out,
And you're going to work.
And I was going to work, yes. But, it taught me a lot. I credit Sharon Decker. You probably know Sharon Decker.
Yes.
I credit her for me still being on the career journey that I'm on, because I had some doubts about working those crazy hours. And she said, you need to sacrifice. And so it taught me a lot about sacrificing to get where you want to be. And, the rest has just been, it's been an amazing journey. So let's see, customer service, government affairs, community relations, Duke Energy Foundation, HR, communications, stakeholder engagement. I've just been all over the place. Yes.
I think one of the things as I've gotten to know you over the years that I have loved to witness is your heart and just how you have always are seeking out ways that Duke and Piedmont can be involved in our community. And I feel that you've really got some amazing nonprofits and mission-driven projects that is very close to your heart and to your whole team.
Yes.
Why don't you share some of those with us?
Yeah, so I'll go back just a little bit. So in January 2023, I joined Piedmont Natural Gas, and that's when I began this government community relations role. So in that role, a number of things fall in my responsibilities: philanthropy, sponsorship, stakeholder engagement, things like that, local government relationships. And probably the biggest thing, I always tell myself, I'm so thankful when I get up in the morning, because I know what I'm going to do today is making a difference for somebody. And so our giving areas align in what we call vibrant economies. So think about educational opportunities, supporting things in the education arena, climate resiliency, which goes around the environmental space. And I'll go back. Vibrant economies is also workforce development, things like that. Climate resiliency is around the environmental space, and then the opportunity and inclusion. So looking at ways to, essentially level the playing field so that everybody has an opportunity to be involved in different things within our community. if I think about some of the organizations that are really near and dear to our heart, I think around housing and homelessness, work closely with Roof Above, organizations like that are really intent on really helping to end homelessness. Tonight, I have an event with Supportive Housing Coalition where they really house some of the most vulnerable population, those with some special needs, mental illness, and they actually provide the housing for these folks. So that's going to be a great event tonight. It'll be fun to be there and support that work. And when we look at things around food insecurities, it's hard to believe that people in our community don't have enough food to eat. And so we work closely with organizations like Nourish Up, and you probably know Tina Postel, and I'm on the board of Feeding Charlotte, and that's kind of an interesting twist on feeding people, and it's simply they go into restaurants and places that make food and distribute food, and instead of allowing that food to go into the trash, at the end of the day, they call it rescuing the food, and they repurpose it and send it to homeless shelters and things like that to feed people, and so the food doesn't go to waste.
I love that.
I know it's a great organization.
I love that, and I know that both of us have such a love for Kay Carter.
Oh
and
yes, Second Harvest
Food Bank, and both just. I've always said I don't know if I personally know anyone that is as committed to feeding homeless children as Kay is.
Yes.
She makes it her mission every morning when
day
she wakes up.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are really involved with them.
Yes. I don't know when the lady sleeps.
I don't either.
She just works and works and works. Yeah.
I think during COVID, it was really great to be able to see what your team was doing in our community, and the guys that are out on the lines, that are making sure that all of us have gas and power every day, and the way that your team would make sure that they were being thanked. And you were always coming up with ways to go and thank those people.
Yeah. When I think about COVID, a lot of us were sent home. I was in that corporate environment.
But those guys were still out.
Those guys, every day, the people running our plants, the people, working on the lines, keeping the power on, the gas folks that were out in the field, they were there every day. And just so grateful that they were. And, fast forward to Helene, you talk about being there on the front lines, and our folks who worked tirelessly to make a difference and try to get power restored in a really quick time frame for those who could be restored. It was all hands on deck. It's kind of our mantra. Anytime a storm happens, whether it's a hurricane that comes through or something like that no one could have ever imagined, it doesn't matter if you're the president of Piedmont or customer service rep. We're all customer service reps, and we help do whatever it takes to serve the customers. My role during Hurricane Helene was I worked with our on the Duke Energy side and with one of the operations teams, and it was about finding hotels for our linemen so they could stay as close to where the issues were, getting food. So not only did they have food when they were able to come back to the operations center at the end of the day, but for them to pack stuff to take with them in the cars because who knew if they were going to get back.
Well, I remember us working on coming up with ways that there were some food supply things that were put into place because, again, people weren't necessarily thinking about that. They're so worried about their immediate needs and the disaster happening to them. But those guys that are out there doing all this work, they need to be eating as well and having a place to sleep at night. So it's really something to watch what you do.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting for me to watch what they do because some of our employees who were on the front line helping everybody else lost everything too. But they never stopped. Their focus was helping our customers, doing what we were supposed to do. So,
I think one of the things that I've really loved having a front row seat to is the love that you have for veterans.
Yeah.
And the work that you do in our community to help our veterans.
Yeah, in fact, the president of of Piedmont, Brian Weisker, is a Navy veteran. And so definitely we have a soft spot for our veterans, make sure we do anything from sponsoring events that help fund the organizations who support our veterans, or doing drives to support veterans. I mean, remember through you when some of the Support Our Heroes works that we've done. So donations or physical donations or financial donations to support the organizations, Veterans Bridge Homes. To name one that's really important.
Well, I think one event that you've consistently done with our Breakfast Club family is right around the corner. It's our Bryson DeChambeau event that will be taking place in May. Yeah. And I think, for probably close to 15 years, you guys have teamed up with First Tee each year to make this event happen and to make incredible donations that morning to First Tee and to helping the kids in our community. Yeah. So thank you.
Well, it's we love supporting that organization. When I think of you and First Tee, it's about serving leaders in the communities and creating leaders, future leaders in our community. And I look at what First Tee does with those young people, and it's just amazing. And so we're thrilled that we get to help support that event that you have each year. It brings out a lot of folks who want to give and support and make a difference, and so I'm excited. And I had to laugh at you. You said it's coming up in May. It is May.
Oh, it is May.
Yeah,
that's right.
What's wrong with that? I mean, I just can't believe it. It's May.
Summertime.
Yeah, time goes by.
Yes, absolutely. So I have an advantage to this because we're such good friends, and I get to see a lot of you in your personal life. But one of the things that I've tried to do on our podcast is when people come on is to give people just an insight. They see you every day at work, right? They don't maybe necessarily see Lisa, who's a workout junkie and a music junkie. Share some of the things that you love to do in your personal time, and maybe something that none of our members would know about you.
Oh, my goodness. I'm an open book, so maybe they do know about it. I don't know. But yeah, you hit on one. Working out is one of the big things, personal things for me. And probably for up until COVID, for 25, 30 years, I was up at 4:20 in the morning, every morning, and was at the gym, as soon as they opened the doors. COVID changed that a little bit. I had to learn to work out at home and acquire weights and things like that. But I'm still doing it. I've been working out since I was 19, and it's kind of, it's my sanity. I've made a lot of good friends through my gym experiences. Family, that's probably the first thing. My folks are gone now, unfortunately, but have siblings that I'm extremely close with, and we talk or text just about every day, and lots of nieces and nephews. I have no kids, but I think they're my kids,
Love that.
So,
what's your favorite kind of music? I know you love music.
Yeah, I'm an R&B fan, and so if you get in my car, a lot of times you're going to hear a bunch of old school. So a lot of Motown. In fact, I have tickets to go see the Four Tops and Temptations Thursday night, although there may be only just one original member now with the Temptations, but still love the music. And this summer we're going to the North Sea Jazz Festival again, and that's in Rotterdam, right outside of Amsterdam. So every genre of music you can think of. It's not just jazz. I think Diana Ross is headlining that event too. I know we were just talking about Diana Ross a while ago. So yeah.
Yes, and you do like a little bit of country.
We've
had you out to some Darius shows.
I love the country. In fact, country's changed a lot. Obviously, it used to be really country, and now it's kind of country rock.
A lot of people like to call it bro country.
Yeah, yes. But yes, love the opportunities that I've had to join you in Wilmington and Nashville, and
I think we might be going to Memphis this summer.
And maybe Memphis.
Yeah. That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
So you've had so many amazing years in a career with Duke and Piedmont. What are a couple things that stick out with you that have been really meaningful in the work that you've been able to be a part of?
Yeah, I've just been so blessed to have gotten to work on a lot of really interesting projects. I think about we've had multiple mergers take place since I joined the company. And so I got to work on 2 of those mergers. One was with Synergy when we merged with the company in the Midwest, and also for the Progress Energy merger. And that was maybe 2012, something like that. But, really interesting to bring together 2 sides of, 2 different companies and like 2 HR groups, one from their company, one from the Duke side. And we would look at what are programs, processes, and practices and take the best from each company and put them together. And then work to create this new culture to try to bring 2 companies together. Really interesting, really hard work, but really gratifying and meaningful work once you actually put it into practice.
Yeah.
Another big thing that I did was a program we call the Duke Energy Alumni Program. We went through this and still do. Really this intentional focus on engaging our stakeholders. And the stakeholders are inside the company, like our employees and our retirees, but then others that we interact with every day, our customers, our business partners, those things. And we really took a hard look at creating those internal ambassadors, and a piece of the puzzle that had not been leveraged as much was our retirees. And not just retirees, but our non-retired employees. Like I have a friend who spent 30 years at the company, but she wasn't a retiree. She left before the definition of retiree, before she fit that definition. And it was those people that we were looking at, people who had spent a lot of time at the company but may not be retired, really looking at how do we engage them, keep them informed, and then leverage them to be ambassadors and advocates for the company. I remember some of the things we wrote about it to share with employees as we were moving down this path. That, who else better to advocate for you than the people who know you the best, and that's your employees and your retirees or former employees. That was a 2-year process to put that together, and and it's still going today. It's a little different, but it's still going today. It's much like a college alumni program, if you will, if you think about it in those terms.
I love that. That was not something I was familiar with.
Yeah.
In this calendar year, I started a membership for retired executives in Charlotte, so I'd love to maybe offline talk a little bit more with you about that.
Yeah.
So
that's I was really proud of that work. Yes,
that's fantastic. Lisa, this was such a treat today.
Oh, well, for me too.
I love anytime I get to see you. It makes me happy, and I love being able to have a voice to share with our members and other listeners on all the good works that so many people are doing. So thank you for taking time to sit down with me today.
Well, thank you so much. I enjoyed it, Jen.
You're welcome. You have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.